Are you frustrated that your child does not seem to take you seriously? Well, then you're going to want to keep watching. Today I'm going to discuss a common parent trap, and I'm going to give you a method or a magic formula for how to avoid it. My name is Nikki Mora with To the Moon and Back Behavioral Consulting, and my goal is to make your lives as parents in the day-to-day so much easier and more enjoyable. So today I'd like to talk about the parent trap that I call ambiguity and the method or formula for how to deal with it. So more often than not, when I get a client and they come to me, their complaint is my child doesn't listen to me. They don't take me seriously. What am I doing wrong? And I go and observe. And what I observe 99% of the time is, the parent following their child around, stating the demand multiple times, threatening consequence multiple times, and each time they're getting more frustrated, more upset, or they're begging and pleading, negotiating, trying to bribe. And if this is you, if this sounds like you, trust me, you're not alone. It is so common. So the steps that I take and the magic formula that I'd like to discuss today is called 2 warnings, then the consequence method. And this is something that I practice as well with my child. And let me tell you, in those times of heightened emotion, when you're just at your wit's end, you've had a long day and you just do not want to deal with this for the umpteenth time, this is a great thing, a great method to fall back on so that you can still maintain your role as a calm and confident leader in your child's life. So what this method allows is it allows you to create predictability. So I told you the parent trap is ambiguity. And that's because your child right now doesn't know how many warnings they're gonna get, when mommy or daddy is actually serious and gonna follow through. Because let's face it, it varies. It varies depending on our level of patience and our mood and what we've gone through in the day, whether it's the morning, whether it's the evening, whether, situation to situation. We vary. We're humans, and it's not like we can be cold and calculated. So the closest I can get you to being calculated is to give you this formula. So 2 warnings, then consequence. And that allows your child to have a sense of predictability and security so that they know how to act and what's expected of them. And it is a very powerful method. It also helps you keep your sanity because you have something that'll be just second nature for you to fall back on and to go through the steps of. So to get into detail on what this looks like, I'll give you an example. So first warning would look like, Johnny, I need you to stop running with the stick. It's not safe. Second would be a warning plus a consequence that's stated. So Johnny, I need you to stop running with the stick. It's not safe. If you run with the stick one more time, I will have to take it away. Third would be following through with the consequence. Now, if your child listens, great, more power to you. Maybe even, catch them being good and saying, hey, great job following the rules. I love how you're being safe with that stick. But if they don't listen, this is where you have to follow through. So you would go up to Johnny and you would say, Johnny, I'm really sorry that you chose to be unsafe with your stick again. I'm gonna have to take it away now. And yes, I know that a meltdown will probably happen. I have a toddler, I know. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a little tip for how to get around that, or at least alleviate it to an extent. And that is to say, I can see that you're very upset that I have to take the stick now. But you know what? If you'd like, we can try again in 5 more minutes. Would you like to do that? Do you think you can make a better choice next time? Most of the time, they'll say, yes, right? Okay, so you set the timer for 5 minutes, then you come back to them, restate the rule, let them know, okay, I have faith that you can follow the rules and you'll be able to play with the stick. And then you get their agreement, and then you let them go on their merry way. If you need to follow through, you follow through. So that is, a walkthrough of this strategy, of this magic formula that really helps. Because what you want to do is you want to create predictability and consistency so that there's no more gray area. Because we know that kids love to live in the gray area, and they will milk it for as much and as long as possible. So if we can cut that gray area down and we can give a more clear communication, clear direction as far as what the expectation is for them, what the consequence is going to be if they don't follow that expectation, then you know what? We're on a level playing field. Everybody knows what's going to happen, and now it's just up to you to follow through with it. So some exceptions to this, because there are theories out there that say, no, you don't give any warnings, you do it the first time. I see that, but from my behavioral background, as well as my experience with kids, when they're really little, let's face it, their brains are not geared towards being able to have impulse control and to restrain themselves. If something looks fun, they're going to do it. If something seems like it'll make them feel good, they're going to do it. So I feel like it's only fair in those young ages, I'm talking like 3 and under, that you give them warnings, that you give them reminders, and that you use those situations as teachable moments. Now, exceptions would be if you have an older child, let's say, between 4 and 5. This is when you've done the groundwork, you've had those teachable moments, and they know what's expected. They can make a good choice. That's when you would cut down the warnings to maybe just 1 and then follow through. And if it is a repeat offense, or something that has to deal with safety, it's a really big safety issue, then that's also when you would just circumvent the warnings and go straight with the consequence or the follow through, because you need to keep them safe. And of course you would keep it a teachable moment and go ahead and explain to them what's happening, but you need to pull them out of that situation. You need to make sure that they can't touch that anymore, or they don't run into the street, different things like that. If it's a repeated offense where you've already explained it to them for the umpteenth time and you know that they know, then don't give them a bunch of warnings, because they're just taking advantage at that point. Children are very smart and they pick up on things like that. So you always have to be trying to, be one step ahead of them. So that is my my tip for today. And again, avoid that parent trap of ambiguity and just be more clear with them. Use the strategies that I've been teaching you so that you can fall back on these things in moments of heightened emotion, and you can stay clear and calm as the leader that they need you to be. And believe it or not, when you set these boundaries, sometimes parents don't want to set boundaries, or they don't want to be too strict because then it hinders their child's, independence or the personality. But you know what? Children need boundaries. They need boundaries to be able to push against, and they need you to show them right from wrong and guide them as far as how to be productive and to thrive as an individual. So, what that's going to lead to is that's going to lead to you having more confidence to be able to give them that freedom in the future, and they're going to know what the expectation is to maintain that freedom. So that is it. That is a very helpful and powerful formula, magic formula. So if you liked it and you found it helpful, please follow me, like it, share it. I'd love to hear any comments from you about this and how it works out for you. So until next week, thank you so much and have a fabulous weekend.